and stand steady by your side. We'll touch the sky. Students lifting students, hand in hand, together we rise. Together we stand. From every we rise. Together we stand. From every corner, from far and wide, our talents merge, our future's tied. In science, tech, and all the arts, we find our way, we play our parts. Reach for the stars, for the stars.
Good afternoon. I'm Moria, your BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day Student Ambassador. Today's Career Day is sponsored by Lockheed Martin, the leading aerospace and defense company. We would like to thank Lockheed Martin for continuing to support our program. Today's guest is Masherrl Conyer, the Chief of Staff and Senior Manager of Corporate Technology Operations and Integration at Northrop Grumman. She will tell us about her journey to this role and how STEM played a role in her success. But before we learn about her fascinating journey, let me bring up my fellow student ambassadors, Hope and Joy, to share their thoughts on today's opening topic, balance. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Maria. Hi, I'm Joy Pagan, a college student and veteran ambassador, and today we're going to discuss balance. We'd like to invite our viewers to participate. How do you bring balance to your life? What are important parts of your day that need to be balanced? Please share your thoughts in the chat. And let's start off by establishing a few things first. Number one, what parts of your life are important? And that importance, how do you bring balance to make sure you're incorporating what's important to you, but you're also enjoying yourself? What do you think, Moria?
Well, I think that, first of all, taking care of yourself is important. So always, I believe that if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of anything. You got to make sure you got yourself, and you got to make sure that you're good first before you start anything. So waking up, making sure that you're taking care of your hygiene, making sure that you eat your food, and making sure that you spend some time outside. That's the basics.
Yeah, I love that answer. I for sure make my mornings, I kind of like get off academics, social media, and I just do a quick workout and I walk my dog outside, and it really makes me feel like my life isn't just school and work. It helps me feel like I have a life outside of that. What about you, Hope?
I think the most important way for me to start my day is I like to talk to God and like read my devotions just to make sure I'm centered with myself and I'm ready to face anything I have to face in my day. And also I'm ready to like just make sure I feel like me. And the best way to feel like me is reconnecting with who made me. So I think that's the most important thing about my day. And then after I do that, I like hit up my friends. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know, make sure the people that I love know that like I'm here to support them today too as well. And I just go about my day. After that, I'm ready to have fun. To be honest, I don't take it too seriously. I have to do this, this, and this. I just go through my day. So
That's a pretty
Thank you
solid
for that
routine.
thoughtful answer. Next question. Moria, what happens when you lose your balance and focus too much on one aspect over the others? What are factors that cause that imbalance?
Well, that's funny because I recently struggled with that this week. I was like, how am I going to catch up on my math? I was like 2 weeks behind, and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so overwhelmed and everything. And then what recenters you is like remembering what you prioritize. And so I was like, I really need to get back caught up with school. So I decided to cut out my social media usage. I went on my iPad and I got rid of all the extra tabs, and I put my math, like I have Pearson, and so Pearson, and then I have a writing app, basically, where I like do my math problems on. So I just kept it on that in my calculator. And that helped a lot because that got rid of the extra distractions. So I would say get rid of the extra distractions in your life and focus on what you're supposed to be prioritizing.
I love that answer. Hope, what about you?
When I sense an imbalance, I usually ask myself, why are you hyper focused on only one thing? And it's usually because of a fear that I have. So once I face that fear, I realize, okay, my mind can start to be open to other things because I realize, okay, Hope, is this really focusing, or are you just OCD about something? You know what I mean? Like, are you
Yeah.
OCD about a problem? So I just try to like refocus my mind and fix that fear.
I would like to add on to that a little bit. Like bounce off what you just said. I like to kind of baby myself, like just speak to myself like I'm a small child, and I'm like, okay, like we have to just gentle parenting myself and like, okay, I know you're scared to get this done, but we got to get through this. And so I just speak to myself like I'm a child.
I actually really like that answer because what I do when I feel imbalanced is I meditate. And then I show myself compassion because at the end of the day, we're human and we have to remember we're going to have some mistakes. We're going to fall behind sometimes, and that's okay. It's just about not looking at it as like a problem, but reframing your mindset to look at it as a situation you're going to take part in and just overcome. So I really like that answer, and I like that you guys are actively improving your mental health and making that be an important aspect in your life, because I feel like the more you do that, the less imbalances that are caused, you know? Um,
Yeah.
last question. So, what would you guys suggest to anyone who feels as though their life is in imbalanced state, but they don't have the drive to make themselves become balanced? How do they bring how what would you tell them to get that motivation again to bring balance back into their life?
I would tell them to lock in, and I would tell them that remember your why. I would tell them to remember your why, remember why you're here, remember why you're in school, and these other things you got going on, that's fun. Like go enjoy yourself, go party, go have fun, because that's part of balance too. But when it comes to the end of the day, you got to lock in, and it's either you get through this or you don't get through this. So,
I
yeah.
tell them to embrace their journey. Sometimes I think we confuse balance with confirmation, and in life you don't have that much confirmation as to like what's going to happen, where you're going. So I would tell them that just don't rely on you needing to be somewhere. Rely on where you are right now in your present moment. Stay present, and if you stay present, I think you're going to be on the right track eventually.
I love that. And
Solid advice.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I would suggest for me I would just be like, live your life with love, wisdom, and courage, and just go about everything that way, because I think sometimes we have to know that it's okay with being in the unknown. You don't have to have all the answers at the right time. You know what I'm saying? But if
Yeah.
you lead your life in the sense of love, wisdom, and courage, you're kind of opening yourself up to new experiences, to learning from those experiences, and then having the courage to be present with what you're experiencing. So, guys, I love this discussion today. And to whoever's watching, please remember to stay balanced, and you can overcome any situation that you feel unbalanced in. And it's all about staying present and enjoying life's experiences. Over to you, Moria.
Thank you, Joy, for that. Um, Thank you, everyone, for your thoughts and openness to having these kinds of important discussions, because this is important in school or wherever you are in life. Today, we had a good balance of perspectives. Viewers, I hope we've given you something to think about, and we thank you for your participation. Now, here's Hope with today's special guest, Masherrl Conyer.
Good afternoon. I'm Hope Pagan, a veteran student ambassador and a familiar face since you've already met my twin Joy. With me today is Miss Masherrl Conyer. Thank you for being on Career Day today, Miss Conyer. Please tell us about your story.
Well, thank you. So, one, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the leadership that has been upon you all. This is an amazing experience so far. And thank you for all that are joining. So my name is Masherrl Conyer. I also go by Mash. So if you can remember mashed potatoes, you could also remember that. I am currently the Chief of Staff for Corporate Technology Operations at Northrop Grumman. I've been in my career over 18 years in the aerospace industry. And so I'm really excited to tell you a little bit more about myself, as well as gain a little bit more about you all as well. So I do have a presentation, so I'll bring that up. So again, thank you for BEYA, the Stars and Stripes, for inviting me today. So I'm really excited to have this conversation today. So next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am a picture person, so I added some pictures for for some color. But again, so I currently work at Northrop Grumman. I serve as the Chief of Staff, and I'll give a little bit more details of my day in the life in a few more slides. And again, I've been in the company about 4 years now with Northrop Grumman, but overall with aerospace, 18 years. I did spend some time at Boeing, and I was all over the place in the corporation. So I started in St. Louis, selling F-15s to Korea and Singapore. I worked on Japan tanker, so I had the opportunity to travel internationally with those jobs. I also went over to Seattle to work on the 787 and 787-9, which is our aircrafts with the fuselage. So learning about that part of the business. And then I came back to St. Louis to work on a proprietary program. And then they brought me to Washington, D.C., and I worked in Virginia for some time. So after my career at Boeing, I left and went to Amazon. I wanted to try something different. I've been in the aerospace industry for over 13 years at that time. So I was just like, well, let me dip into something different. And then my passion came me back to aerospace industry. So then I went to Northrop Grumman, the company I am now. And in my first job there, I was in the space sector. So I actually helped develop space systems, which was kind of cool, working in the manufacturing, managing our OPM managers so that they can able to make sure that we have the parts for the aircraft. So, seeing a space station up close is just like mind blowing because they're so huge, and you see all the wires, you see all the technology that goes into a space aircraft. And I would say that was a very amazing job that I had. I am a graduate from the Tennessee State University, so in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'll tell you a little bit about that journey as well. And then I also did some developmental programs as well and certifications at Cornell, Villanova, and Notre Dame University as well. My values, I love family. So you'll see a picture there with my mom, who is now deceased, my dad, my brother, and my little great nephew. I'm a big family person. I'm actually here in St. Louis, doing a little family get together here now. And family is my world. And then traveling is also my world. I love to travel. You see my group of friends to the right of that photo. So we went to Zanzibar in Tanzania. And so that photo is from a trip that we took in the safari. So you get to see like animals up close. And I would say that is the most insane experience I probably ever had, especially when you're in this little buggy and then you see lions right there. You're like, oh my gosh, like, can I, are the lions going to come to me? So, and like, do we be quiet? Like, what happens? So that is something that I definitely enjoy. So we do at least an international trip with my friends each year. I'm also a farmer. So that is kind of hard to believe for most people because they're like, well, you're in technology, but then you also farm. So I own 22 acres in Pond Bluff, Arkansas, where I'm from. And overall, my family has about 2,400 acres. And so I love driving tractors. I love cleaning them. I love disking land. And disking land is really just getting the land ready for the next crop season. The technology in tractors are like so cool. You think about the old days where you're driving and you're outside and, just this real country life, but they're really souped up. We have air conditioning, we have Bluetooth, the tractors drive themselves. A lot of times they have GPS. So it's really fascinating to be in the agricultural space and actually, doing things and passions that I love. And then, of course, providing crop to families. So we grow rice, soybeans, winter wheat, as well. So, and that picture that you see is soybeans, and that picture is just me in a tractor. I also enjoy cooking. So I love trying new foods, especially during COVID, and everyone was like locked in. I would definitely like try different recipes that I saw online. So that is really fun. And I also love public speaking. So I'm happy to be here today. That picture that you see at the top is at BEYA. So I was able to speak at BEYA for the past 2 years now, and also at Afrotech there at the bottom. And I love tech conferences. So anything, just getting my mind round up about what's happening, whether if it's AI or hypersonics or anything related to my job within tech conferences, I do enjoy going to. So that is a little bit about me. And if we can go to the next slide. How did I get into STEM? So I will tell you, I had no thoughts and no parts of getting into STEM at all. That was the furthest on my mind. I wanted to be a physical therapist. So that is what I had my passion for in high school. So I remember going with my god sister who was in the medical field, and I would intern in the summers at the hospital doing physical therapy. Like that was everything to me, and I was just like, I wanted to work with the WNBA to help the basketball players like get back, on the court. Mind you, I played basketball once in high school, hated basketball, loved softball, right? Because that was my favorite sport. But then I played that since I was 7. But I tried basketball, I hated it. But I still wanted to be a physical therapist in the WNBA specifically, right? And so, so I then, after doing or going to college, right? So you're in college, I'm in science class, like biology. And I hated biology, in all honesty. I just couldn't believe that I was like, I have to do science for how long? And I have to do this, in order to become a physical therapist. And I'm like, I don't know. So I went to our career focus, our career center. And by being in the career center, you had to take this test to see like, what is your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you like? What do you don't like? And everything with engineering and math, like scored very, very high. Right. So anything dealing with science was low. And I know this is science, technology, engineering, and math. So I was just like, wow. And I had to make a life decision at that moment. Like, do I continue down this path of physical therapy, knowing that I have to go in the science class? And I was struggling in science, and I had all A's and not one B. And I was just like, I don't know if I could do this. So I switched my major in its entirety to e-business and supply chain management. That was a new field within my college. It was telling you how to get things from part A to point B. I was in school many years ago, so that was before the Amazons and all of those things. But it really was about like logistics, right? Of how you're going to get a product from the warehouse to the consumer, and then also how do you put your business online. I'm a little old school, back when we had floppy disk and back when you had to go to the library with your notebook card to get the library books or to do research. And, I think Facebook had maybe just come out during that time. So this is a very, very long ago. But in the midst of that, I enjoyed, everything dealing with within that career field, or I would say that professional field. So I went to our career day, and Boeing at the time was doing a presentation, and they were talking about this program that they had. Was this the Boeing Career Foundation program where you could switch jobs every 6 months to see, what you like. And it was all within engineering and it was in math. And I was like, well, that's what I want to do, because then I could kind of figure out what I like. So a lot of it was in finance, and I just loved it. I loved working with the engineers to come up with how are we going to get this F-15 built at the time. I loved working with the customer to understand, what their needs were. And it was all like making sense. Like I loved working with the finance team as we were putting this contract together to then sell off the F-15. So I switched into, the aerospace industry and just fell in love with it. And then from there, I became invested. So I wanted to learn even more about technology, because technology is so cool when you see how things just transform over the years. Like, even when you think about your smartphone, right? So even before your smartphone, there was like a rotary phone where you have to like dial the numbers. Now you can just do, 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 or you can say, Siri, call such and such. Like the growth in technology is insane. So really being invested in learning more in the aerospace industry is what really kept me in the aerospace industry for as long as I'm here today. So next slide. So a little bit about the day in the life for me. So again, I am the Chief of Staff for Corporate Technology Operations. So I lead all of our day-to-day operations within the office. I have an office about 7, which is my Corporate Technology Vice President, as well as myself, a few other directors within technology and engineering, as well as our analytics and employees. And so that means everything. So between running meetings, between being the DOA for my boss when he's out, and making those hard decisions, between managing our budget. So I have a $2.5 million budget in which I manage for the entire organization. So that could be anywhere from labor costs to the supplies that we are getting or the projects that we are promoting. I also help identify over the horizon technologies. So these are the technologies that you don't see, like they're white space technologies or emerging technologies. And a lot of that is working with those universities to see, what's happening, what is in the area of research. So again, hypersonics, AI, of course, is going crazy, advanced materials, so things like that. So there are critical technologies that the government has. It's a list of 14 of those. We really hone in on 12 of those. And so those are the things that we look at and we are investing in over the years. So it is a cross-sector relationship that we have. So I work with the space sector, I work with defense, I work with aerospace, and I work with mission systems in identifying these technologies and how we should be investing in them over the years. Again, I mentioned I partner with technology-focused universities, so we do visits. We have an upcoming visit with MIT to talk about their technology and how we could partner with them and do certain projects with them as well. And also just cross-sector relationships. So I mentioned those enterprise or those executive relationships that I manage, and also not just within the sector, mission systems, defense, aerospace, and space, but also with our law department to talk about like what type of rights that we could have when we're looking at these technologies. What are the critical technologies that we should keep but not like sell off to the public? So really working with the law team about that. And then also working with our finance team about, how much things are and what we should invest in, and if there's companies that we should acquire or not, or partner with. So the day in a life is never the same, which is exciting. So I never have the same thing to do once. I would say, from writing policies about certain things to working with our lawyers. So it could change any day. And then especially if my boss is out and I'm his DOA, so then I get all of his assignments, being his delegate of authority. So I will say it's a pretty exciting job. I do really, really love what I do. And I love the passion between really understanding the technology for the future. Okay. Next slide, please. So this is skill building. I always encourage people to never stop learning. There's something always new. that you could learn, even down to like the smallest thing. So these are some of the things that I do for myself. So I look at a lot of our internal leadership cohort programs, how to be a better leader. I do manage a group of staff, and I want to make sure that I'm investing in their development just as much as them performing well. So my key component is bringing up the next generation of leaders. And so I want to be the best leader that I could be. So joining the leadership cohort programs are important to me, understanding my leadership style, how can I be developed a lot more, so then I could develop folks a lot more. So I'm open for mentoring all the time. So if anyone needs a mentor, I'll be happy to support as well. Continuing education. So I went to Cornell University, Villanova, and Notre Dame because I want to know more. So I get certifications within project management or business management, or how to effectively lead teams with those universities. Also, technology news. I have to be in the know, especially now because things are changing day by day. So I am a subscriber to Defense News. So they come to my email, in aerospace and engineering news. All of that stuff comes to my email, and I take time out to read about it. You really have to read about what's happening in your industry, whether if you are completely working in that or not. So that is something that we would have to do. And then conferences, really big on STEM conferences, and NVIDIA has a conference, and books. So these are just some of the books that I like to read, but those are great for me. Okay, next slide. Mentors are something that is really important. So this is my boss. His name is Tom Masherrl. He is a retired Major General in the Air Force. And a lot of the stuff that he does is he's empowering me. He is, very empathetic to the things I have going on personally. He values my input. I won't read all of those things there, but, a mentor is someone that really helps you develop as a leader, as well as encourages you throughout your career. There are also advocates and sponsors. These are people that are advocating in the rooms that you're not in to say, I think this person will be good for this position, or a sponsor to say, what, let me help you get to the next role or the next level in your career. So these are just some of the things that my mentor has done in the advocacy for myself. Next slide. I won't spend too much time on my biggest challenge, but I will say navigating the unexpected. I believe there's going to be some questions about balance, and so I'm going to address those in that segment. But that is one of the biggest things that can happen, because personal life happens, things happen. So navigating the unexpected is something that I touch on in Q&A. Next slide. Oh, and here's Q&A. So this is like perfect. So thanks for listening to my story, and then I'll turn it back over to the team.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Conyer. I loved your presentation. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then my fellow ambassadors would love to ask you questions about your journey and your presentation.
I work at Lockheed Martin as a cybersecurity systems engineer, and I've been at Lockheed for 19 years. The role of cybersecurity engineering has a tremendous impact on the mission to deliver secure systems to our customers. I have 3 children. My kids are the center of my universe. I would not be able to continue working effectively as a working parent if it had not been for the flexibility in our work schedule and the flexibility of our leaders to help me exercise a flexible work schedule. One of the reasons why I've been at Lockheed Martin for 19 years is because I think the culture and the values that we demonstrate really reflect my own personal values. Performing with excellence, acting with integrity, those are steadfast values that we talk about day to day. I have seen great changes in the diversity within our company. 19 years ago, there weren't a whole lot of women in leadership, so the few that we had were highly coveted. Today, I'm proud to say that we see quite a few women in leadership roles. The advice that I would provide to young women and girls who are interested in STEM is go for it. You can do it. Don't let anyone stop you.
Welcome back, Miss Conyer, Joy, and Maury. I was about to say Hope, but that's me. We would love to ask you questions about your presentation and your journey. Starting with, this month's theme is balance. How do you find balance in your life when your job is so demanding?
So I would say balance is one of the challenges that that I kind of skipped over to answer the question, because I don't think there is a balance, to be honest. I think you have to understand where you are and then work towards the end goal. So I would say, for instance, a lot of things happened within my career change. I said I went from Boeing to Amazon. That was an imbalance, right? Because now you're not working and you're kind of figuring out what's the next step. And then you go into the career that you have no idea what to expect. So life could be a little bit like a roller coaster. But you navigate through it. You figure out what is the best motive for you and what is the best thing for you. And then in that case, I went back to aerospace because I love aerospace. In my career, I lost my mom. So, having that imbalance to then go from, being in the DMV area to then moving to Arkansas for a few months to deal with home matters to then coming back. And it was hard to balance because it's like I have work, I have, family issues, and life happens, at the end of the day. So my best advice is to just navigate those things. You all said amazing things at the beginning about centering yourself, working out, taking care of yourself is so important, especially when life can start throwing, all types of curveballs and you're trying to catch them from all angles. But really that centering and that focusing and really living your life, as you mentioned, with love and wisdom and courage are all great things that you guys said earlier that really help you balance, in a sense, your career trajectory or the things that are happening. So I normally say immersion versus balance, because, sometimes days are better than the other. And so you just kind of immerse yourself into what you're doing and how you're focusing. And then you just kind of make it work, I would say.
That's some pretty
I
solid
100% agree with
advice.
that answer. Yeah, same. My fellow ambassadors, do you guys have anything to say about the answer? I mean, that was an amazing answer. I wish that we talked about another perspective of not having a balance when we are doing our little talk about balance in the beginning. You guys have anything you want to add or any questions that you might want to, any questions from her response?
Well, this is kind of off topic, but during your presentation, you mentioned you like to try new foods. What's your favorite food that you've tried?
My favorite food that I tried, I would say char-grilled oysters.
Ooh.
I went to New Orleans, and so they had, and I love seafood, and so I was not into oysters. I was like, I'm not trying them, but I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try them. I was like, they smell good, they look good. My friend ordered them. They had like crab meat on it and butter, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and try them. And I would fly to New Orleans today just to eat some char-grilled oysters.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I would say never be afraid to try new things. And then if you don't like that thing, try something else.
That
Right.
makes sense. Leading into that, you said you're from Arkansas.
Yes.
So that means you had a rural background, agricultural. Agriculture it's kind of an underrated field. No, well, I wouldn't say nobody appreciates farmers, but it's not as appreciated as it's supposed to be because you're literally growing people's food. How does that growing up on a farm, how did that kind of influence how you approach technology and science and STEM?
Yes. So it's definitely I would say not a lot of people are in agriculture today. There has been a decline in farmers and a decline in also land because of all the buildings that are happening. But how that has transitioned into STEM is I really didn't have a love for farming in the beginning. I would just go out and just help my dad, because he's just like, come on, you can help with this. So while my friends were out, going to the movies and to the mall, and I'm out, we had horses at one point. I'm out shoveling horse manure, which is fertilizer for the land, and that's what you learn, right, in agriculture in a sense, or driving tractors. And I just, fell in love with it. And I fell in love with spending time with my dad, because he was really appreciative of that. And then learning the technology and the evolution of that is completely insane when you think about it. So it's definitely even driving the tractors, as I mentioned, right? So looking at a manual and seeing how now the new technology, for instance, I'll give you a keen example, is a See and Spray John Deere tractor. So for those who don't know, when you grow things, there are sometimes weeds in the ground, right? So even your grass, there's weeds. And so people have chemicals to kill the weeds. So a new technology happened within John Deere where they will actually have cameras on the sprayer so they could see it, target it, and then just spray directly the chemical on the weed to kill it.
Wow.
Right? But before then, you would just spray your entire field with chemicals and hope that it touches it and kills it. So the technology is evolving, and these things are expensive and expansive, in a sense. Like a See and Spray tractor is like $700,000 to buy. Very expensive, but it also saves you money when it comes to spending money on fertilizer or spending money on chemicals or anything of that nature. So I will say that technology advancement in agriculture is keen. It's happening every day, especially if that is a field that you're looking into. It is actually an amazing opportunity to work with these companies, and then they're transferable. So even though I work for Northrop Grumman, guess who we met with about learning their technology?
Who?
John Deere.
Wow.
So because technology has evolved. I just gave you an example of a See and Spray, but then just think about if you add that technology on one of our missiles, in a sense of seeing a target and of course pinpointing it from a multitude of avenues. So technology is intertwined. So it's not just one avenue. And then it's so much stuff to learn and gain from.
That's
I
very interesting. Very cool.
one of the things that I like about listening to you is when I think of a farmer, if I'm being completely honest, I would never picture someone that looks like you. And it's so mind blowing to me because I'm like, it's like a black woman as a farmer, and she's also in the STEM group. It's like so insane to me. But as you're talking, I'm like, I wonder if your farmer roots have and you said during presentation you have to be able to manage a whole bunch of things, but I wonder if your farmer roots played a big part into how preparing you for your job now in some type of way. And farmers have if you said something about just now, they have a big budget and they have to keep money, and things are expensive, and I remember sometimes things can be detrimental to your farm if something goes wrong. So I just wonder if that played a root into each other, to be honest. Does it play into each other?
It does. So one, yes, I definitely agree. I would never see myself and say, oh, she's a farmer. So you are not alone. And then anytime I go to a farm conference, I'm like, you farm? You know how to drive a tractor? Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I could drive a tractor. I could, do all those things. But they do play hand in hand in a sense. And I would say more so with routine. So as a farmer, you have to get up very early to start your day. My dad literally would wake me up when I was younger at 5 a.m. and was like, all right, we have to go and, get the tractor ready, drive it to this field, do this. And then I am working from 5 all the way till, sun up to sundown in a sense, right? And so that routine kind of shifted to my work life because I like to get things done. And so having a routine, waking up early, starting my day, as you guys mentioned, with devotion, prayer, working out are the things that I like to do as well. Balanced breakfast, to then get into the office to be laser focused into getting my jobs done and writing out the tasks for the day. Just like within farming, we have a plan of things to do for the day. So it's like, okay, we need to irrigate this field. So we're going to spend time irrigating the fields and making sure that that is completed. And there's multiple fields to do. And irrigation is really laying this long piece of poly pipe, filling it with water and then going row by row, putting holes in it so that the water can come out and fill the rows up. So just imagine you're doing this for 250 acres. Like, you're going to get a workout in, right? And you're going to be hot and it's going to be sweat and you're going to be like, what is happening? Thankfully, I never stepped on a snake, so that's good. But there's all types of little critters out there in the field. But establishing those routines is kind of the things that go into my day-to-day of work. And then just hard work. All of this stuff isn't easy. Managing budgets, as you also mentioned, I do have to manage a farm budget because we get crop loans. If the crop loan doesn't do well, if the crop doesn't do well, now you have to deal with insurance and then you have to pay off the crop loan. Like, there's are certain aspects that you have to manage, as well as managing a budget of $2 million. Like, they're almost not equally the same, but things happen where you have to kind of like manage them simultaneously in a sense. So it does intertwine. And I just like the hard work of it all because I work hard in both fields.
I love your answer. And just to see how like farming has impacted your growth in the corporate world and how you've taken some lessons to like your lifetime today. Did you attend the BEYA conference this year?
I did. I had a great time at the BEYA conference.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. What was your experience like for you to see other Black women also who are, just as successful, and for you guys to like come together and, get to share you guys' stories? What was that like for you seeing people that look like you there?
Yeah, it's always heartwarming, lifting up other Black women, lifting up our community, empowering each other, hearing each other's story, and then also working together to either put together. So, for instance, I spoke on 2 different panels at the BEYA conference. One was all female. And actually, just coming together and brainstorming ideas of like what to say and how to answer these type of questions and what questions should we ask. It was like nice to work with other women in different fields because you get the diversity of thought and different perspectives of your peers. And then also how you are navigating both of your successes. Like we talked about balance and what that looks like. We have people that have children. We have one, based on her career in the government, some changes has happened. So learning from each other and uplifting each other is like one of the best experiences that I would say when working at BEYA. And then seeing all the youth there and how everyone is like so excited and like wanting to like call it and meet and talk. Like, it was amazing. And then with Northrop Grumman, we were giving on-site offers. So walking up to people and they're like, oh, I got a job. I'm like, oh yes, like I'm so excited, like call me, you know what I mean? When you come, send me an IM. Or, just people that says, oh, I need help with my resume. Can you look it over? Like, really just empowering the next generation is all what I enjoy to do. And also working with my fellow women colleagues in the process.
I just have a question. Were you at the job fair?
I walked down to the job fair, but I wasn't participating in the job fair. But I was down there.
What was your booth there?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So Northrop Grumman had the booth, and then we had the behind the stage so people could do like the interviews, like the Defining Possible Lounge. So people could go and do their interviews and get on-site offers during that time.
That's nice. I was actually at the job fair. Hopefully, maybe next year I'll see you. We'll see you. Hope, Joy, we'll see you.
Yeah. No, I would definitely love to meet you in person. I definitely stopped by the booth and update. I hope I can get an update on the farm as well. I am intrigued. Before I end the segment, though, is there anything else you want to say to the audience, or is there anything else you want to add before we end the Q&A segment?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I would say don't be afraid to go through STEM. You never know what you can learn in your career. Like, again, I mentioned I wanted to be a physical therapist. Like, that was my whole existence, at that time. And I switched over and I just fell in love with technology and how things are new and exciting and how I could solve problems with the technology that we're inputting not only in our products within Northrop Grumman, but even in the technology within farming. And just because that career field doesn't look or, appealing or doesn't maybe, fit the mold, like, again, no one will ever think that I was a farmer. Try it out. You never know what you might love. Try new exciting things, and don't be afraid to be honest with yourself, right? I had to be very honest with myself within my career and say, oh, I want to change or I want to do something different. So don't be afraid of those. So, be authentic to yourself, seek new things, and don't forget to continue to learn. Like, never stop learning. Like, even when you get settled in your careers, take more courses, take more classes. And a lot of companies offer continuing education, so take up on all of that. And then the last thing is thank you. Thank you to the ambassadors. Like, you all are like amazing women. And I'm so excited to hear about your story. Hopefully we can stay in touch. I give you my email, all that stuff, and help any way I can. And anyone that's also listening, I'm an open book, and I'm very excited to help and support the next generation. So thank you all, and thank you to the sponsors, Lockheed Martin. Even though we're competimates, but we do work together in a sense. So I do definitely appreciate you guys continuing to support STEM and the ambassadors that we have on the phone today. So thank you.
It
Thank
was
you.
lovely having you.
Thank you for your time today. You have been one of the most unique people I think I've ever interviewed. Like, you're unpredictable. I love it so much. Like, your story is just like amazing. So thank you for your time, and thank you, and fellow ambassadors, for being with me and interviewing Miss Conyer. Next, I want to talk about BEYA, because Moria and Joy, we were at BEYA together, and I think that we have a special guest today, Dominic, if he will come up to the screen. Hi, Dominic.
Hey everybody, how are you guys doing?
It's good. I saw you guys last month at the BEYA conference. Can you guys tell me your experience, your thoughts? Let me know. Have you guys had time to reflect? What are we thinking about BEYA and our experience?
For
I
sure, I
think
guess I'll go ahead. You got it.
I would say that BEYA was good as always. I saw a lot of people, saw a lot of booths, and it just really inspired me to be my best self and really take what I learned from BEYA and incorporate it into my personal life here in Florida. And yeah, I feel like I grew a lot, made a lot of connections. What about you all?
Dominic, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I would definitely say BEYA was truly a full circle moment for me. It was my second time like attending the conference, and the first time I attended, I was came just as like a student, and I was asking for mentorship and help. And what I mean, how it was a full circle moment, was I also got a chance at this year's conference to speak on a panel and to hear other students ask me for help, ask me for advice, ask me for mentorship. It was something that was definitely heartwarming, and I also got to do it in front of my dad, and just sharing that moment with him, that was something that's very special to me, because I got a chance to see him speak at a conference, and he got a chance to see me speak at a conference. So not too many like father and sons can say that, but I got to meet a lot of great people. I got to network with a lot of great people as well, military royalty, the whole nine. So it was definitely a full circle moment for me, and I enjoyed every single moment.
That's really cool.
Joy, what was your experience?
My experience was really interesting because I learned so much from it. Like, I learned the importance of like ambition, and I learned the importance of staying centered through that too. You're meeting a lot of new people, And everyone has these like goals they're achieving, and I learned the importance of like balancing that, like we were talking about today, and just to be authentic, like being your authentic self while you're in this conference is probably the most important lesson I learned, because it's kind of hard to do that. You're around people who are very successful, you're around people, your age, all these colleges. But I learned like the best gift you can have when you're networking and you're trying to have these opportunities is by just being yourself, because us and us as individuals, we have so much to offer. We're all unique in our own ways. And I learned that, I may not
Mhm.
be good at coding or something else, but I have so much to offer in regards for like um, psychology and connection and all of that. So that was a really good experience for me. What about you, Maria?
Well, I already kind of briefly mentioned my experience, but how did y'all enjoy doing the interviews and when we were all at the booth together?
Oh, wait, can I talk about my experience real quick before
Yes,
we
go
hop
Yeah, of
ahead.
into the
course.
so my experience was very like interesting to me because the one thing that I think is very unique about BEYA is you can go to any conference, but BEYA feels so family oriented. So even the students that I don't know, or even the high CEOs and stuff, it's like everyone comes with this personable like atmosphere or energy to help each other, which I really really love. And I also want to talk about being a BEYA Stars and Stripes ambassador at BEYA as well. You get the opportunities that we were given was amazing. We interviewed countless huge leaders in STEM, and to just have the opportunity is such a blessing, to be honest. And how we got to work as leaders. Like we were our generation. I know I looked at other students, like looking at me interviewing other students, and they would just be like, in all like, oh, that's so cool. And to like, I like being able to be like a black woman, a black girl, and being able to like be like bold and like shine at a conference like BEYA, and let other people know like you can just hop right in here, you can do the same thing. And I think that as being a BEYA Stars and Stripes ambassador at BEYA helps represent that, and it was like a great opportunity for me. So that was my experience.
100%. I think it's an awesome blessing that we all had to get to be ambassadors that weekend
Yeah.
and to meet new people and inspire them. And I remember me and Dominic worked the booth and we got like 14 signatures. And just to see people interested in like doing what we're doing, it gives me hope about how far this program, BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Ambassadors, how far it can go. And I've already seen it, progress. Like this past weekend, what we were doing, it was very innovative, very adaptive. So I'm excited to see like how far this is really going to go and how many new changes are going to be made and everything. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear you all had a good time. Um, Back to kind of what you said, Joy. How did you all enjoy being at the booth together? Like, how did you enjoy interviewing students and just that whole process?
Dominic, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I definitely enjoyed all of it. It definitely brought me back to like I'm a reference basketball, but it definitely brought me back to like playing on a team and like being able to just like pitch ideas off of each other, interact with one another. I feel like that was something that definitely made things a lot easier, and we were able to kind of like tag team where somebody would do the interview and then we would film and then we would give our feedback. But it was something that I definitely enjoyed, getting to see the different students, getting to see the different like questions, and then coming up on things on the fly as well. So I definitely enjoyed each part of the interviews that we did.
I can agree. I think that so this was the first year that I've gotten to work with Dominic. I've worked with Maria and my sister the since this started. And what I really enjoyed watching was like in the beginning I had worked with Dominic in the booth, and I got to know him, and seeing him from there to the end of the conference, I got to watch him grow as a person. I saw his confidence grow. I saw people be inspired by him, and that was really cool to see. Just it shows you like just the depth of how much being an ambassador means. You know what I'm saying? It even helps us as people. It helps us grow and be very like adaptive within ourselves. Like you have to ask yourselves like how can we progress. And I think Dominic did a great job of just taking this confidence and really just walking full on into it. And that was really cool to see. And Moria, you too. Like, from the beginning to now, I mean, your charisma, yeah, your personality, it always brings this light and energy into whatever we're doing. And I just had the best experience working with you. And same for my sister. She has been my limelight. When I needed more confidence, she pushed me. She said, you're enough. And my sister, that's really my strong suit person. And I'm so inspired by her. So you too, Hope.
Oh, thank you. I like going to BEYA as a team, to be honest, this year, because as a team we also had to figure out how to work together, like how to like move the machinery, to be honest. And having separate personalities and all of our personalities come together was really fun, because in STEM you're going to meet so many different personalities, and how navigating, like giving our mentors gave us the room to navigate how to work with each other. So we would split into teams. I think Moria, me and you were on the team, and me and you had this job of going up to college booths and like interviewing them at their college. And that was kind of scary, because you hate to hear no, you want to hear yes every time. And then when you hear no, you have to gain that confidence of, okay, keep going, keep asking, brush it off. Moria, what was your experience? How did you handle the no's when me and you did get some no's?
Well, we didn't get that many no's.
Yeah.
Everyone was enthusiastic to be on camera and to have just to speak on their experiences and to give advice. So everyone was pretty open, pretty much. And I enjoyed, like, we went to the North Carolina A&T booth, and Hope, she really connected with those people. And I went to the FAMU engineering booth, and yeah, we took turns filming, and I thought that was fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed working with you. I was a little queasy that day, so I might not have as much footage of me, but I was filming when Hope was interviewing like the groups of students, so that was fun. But yeah, I enjoyed working with you, Hope.
Oh, thank you. I love working with you, Moria.
This is so cool to hear. So, I think it was Saturday. During the day, we worked under Ty, and we were all a group for a long time, like doing podcasts and even the planning for the podcast. We spent so much time together, and I think behind the scenes, you guys don't get to see behind the scenes, but there was some mishaps. Sometimes there was some misunderstandings, but we had to work through that. What do you guys think was the best thing each person on here brought to the team?
Like the best, like person, like individually wise.
Yeah, like the best individual trait that each person brought to make this team come together.
I think, Moria, your authenticness, you're just always you. I think that when you let yourself lead and just be you, you really like kind of can shift the whole conversation. And I think you just like ease everyone's tension. I think like you're easier of tension. I think that when you bring you make everyone be like, okay, wait, I'm gonna be myself too. Joy, I think that you brought this type of like kind of like independent but like nurturing type of mindset, to be honest. Like I think that you played your role as a team. You were just very like centered the entire time, like very like calm. And I think it like calmed everybody else too. I think it was just very like you just did you. I love that. And then Dominic, it was my first time meeting you, so I didn't get to spend as much time with you in the beginning, but as I watched you and observed you from time to time, I think that you brought like experience to the team. I think you're really experienced in STEM, and we got to watch you and watch how you talked about that, and watch you add your experience, but also still be our age as well, or close to our age. So I think that was to have someone that was experienced in the STEM field was very interesting. So those were everything I thought every person brought to the team. So
Moria, would you like to go?
Well, I would like to say that everyone was amazing. I enjoyed seeing you all, and I think kind of similar to what Hope was saying. Joy, you're very composed. Hope is very outgoing. Me, I feel like sometimes I have to warm up a little bit, but then once I get out of my shell, it's I
You shine bright. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And then Dominic, he's a natural on camera. Like, don't let his shyness fool you. He's a natural on camera. I also did an interview with him. Like, we were interviewing students, and his personality really shone. Like, he can be very confident and like very, very just very confident and very like he was directing like the people we were interviewing, and I thought that was very cool. I was very impressed. I thought it was like Sasha Fierce. Like I told him that like male version of Sasha Fierce. Anyways, I enjoyed working with all of you, and I think you all have amazing personalities.
Thank you so much, Moria. I really appreciate that. And guys, is this okay if we press pause on this conversation and next career day we pick up right? There's so many thoughts we have about BEYA. I would love to do that. Dominic, I would love if you can come back and share your final thoughts. But right now we are
For
over
sure.
time, so we have to wrap up. This has been an amazing segment. I loved interviewing with you guys today. I love talking about BEYA, and I wish you guys the best rest of your month. Have a great one. Thank you, Stars and Stripes ambassadors as a team, and see you guys next time. Moria, can you take us out, please?
All right. Thank you to all who joined us for Career Day. We appreciate your insights in the chat and your opinions and questions. We hope that we've effectively balanced entertainment and education in this episode and shown how important STEM can be to your own life. Thank you to our Career Day speaker, Masherrl Conyer, for joining us today and sharing her experiences and insights. Please remember to visit STEMCityUSA.com for more BEYA STEM Career Day segments. We would also like to give a very special thanks to our BEYA STEM Career Day sponsor, Lockheed Martin. They are known for their groundbreaking work in aerospace, arms, defense, information security, and technology around the world. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us for the next Career Day on April 12th, 2025, where we'll feature even more STEM professionals, college students, and high school standouts. I'm ready to explore new STEM careers with you. We'll see you next time. This is Moria Bowman signing off.
Every day at Lockheed Martin, we are creating the future. When did I decide to become an engineer? Where I grew up in my village, we had a lot of interaction with nature. So I was always fascinated by the flight of the hummingbird. Seeing this marvelous aerodynamics of the hummingbird gave me this general idea that I wanted to be working on the ability to control things that flew. I've had this long running curiosity, I still do today, of asking the question, why is this the way it is? Are there ways to improve what it does? And in fact, those are the same questions we ask every day at Lockheed Martin. That's why my colleagues come to work saying, this is great, we've done all these great things, we've built all these great systems, how could we make it better? And how could we make it better together? Lockheed Martin's engineers and scientists are at the forefront of innovation. Everything from AI and machine learning to hypersonics, to directed energy. Individually, all these are really critical capabilities that we need to develop. To actually deliver something ahead of ready to our customers, it takes pulling these pieces together into an overall mission capability. What we are doing here matters to our nation, to our nation's security.